If you've ever had to deal with an insurance company before, be it getting a quote, or logging a claim, we all know and understand the difficulties and the challenges. I hope this video helps shed some light on what is actually going on and how insurance companies have used load shedding as a reason to not cover certain claims. So I've received a letter from Standard Bank. And before I talk about it, let me just read something to you quickly. And this is the letter sent to me by Standard Bank. In the face of continued load shedding and the possibility of electricity grid failure, whether nationally, regionally, locally, or at municipal level, we've taken the difficult, no, it's not difficult for them, taken the difficult decision to add grid failure as an exclusion to existing and new insurance policies. As a result, your insurance policy wording has been updated to exclude cover for any loss or damage caused by or related to grid failure. So they go further to explain the exclusion, and for example, the policy does not cover any claim, loss, liability, damage, injury, or death directly or indirectly arising from any causes related to electricity supply and or grid failure, including power surges, even if it is caused by theft. Just keep that in mind. Ripple relay switching, load shedding, and any related maintenance. Now, further down the letter, they mention useful tips to mitigate the risks related to the exclusion. And some of these points are: make use of surge protectors. You can fit them at the distribution board or the power outlet for electrical devices. Prevent damage. Unplug electrical devices or switch off the power supply at the wall to avoid surges that may occur when the electricity is restored. Now, I'm going to just go back a little, okay? And I just want to touch on something. My question is, how do you determine when an electrical appliance has been damaged by load shedding? And the reason why I ask this is because a few months ago, I went through something where my gate motor was faulty. It worked intermittently. So I contacted Standard Bank, which covers my structural insurance, and they sent out a technician. The technician examined the motor, and it was determined that it was due to load shedding. So unfortunately, I was left on my own to have to cover that on my own. So I contacted an independent person. He came through, he had a look at it, and to my surprise, he said this is not due to load shedding. The circuit board was damaged due to, believe it or not, by lizards peeing on the circuit board, which fry the circuit board. And he showed me specifically, you can see where it is. It leaves these little round rings everywhere where the lizards are messing. And because of that, it has corroded that area slightly. Now, at the time, I never thought about this, and I'm going to touch on this soon, why I should have challenged it, but I didn't at the time because I wasn't really thinking about it. So I ended up just paying for it, and a few months passed by. And then it was brought to my attention by someone else that, hey, load shedding shouldn't affect you. You have an inverter kit. You have surge protectors. And that's when it hit me. Obviously, by then it was a bit too late. The circuit board, I got rid of it. So there's no way for me to prove what my electrician told me. So I had to just let that slide. And then a couple of days ago, I received this letter. So my problem with this is that now whenever there's a problem with any electrical appliance or component in the home, insurance companies are going to tell you we cannot cover it because it's due to load shedding. It doesn't matter what you do. So I replied to them and I asked them, okay, based on your letter that you have sent, you've given some useful tips to mitigate these type of damages or risks. I said, I have an inverter kit. And my question was, if I have taken all these or put all these measures in place to prevent these things from happening, why is my policy being reworded to exclude load shedding? And that's something I know that's going to affect us a lot in the long term. So my question is, what then is my insurance covering? So if you are saying that you are no longer covering these things, shouldn't you give me a discounted premium if you don't want to cover these things? Shouldn't that then be discussed? Because then you are not covering. And look, for most of us, a lot of times your fridge, your washing machine, your kettle, your microwave, you name it, your security system, your alarm, your electrical gates, any of those things pack up, they are not going to cover it. And I've learned that from first-hand experience. So that is something that bothers me a lot, that insurance companies are using load shedding as a reason not to cover certain claims. So you are paying the same premium, but you are not going to be covered for certain things. So if Standard Bank has made, or any insurance company that has made the claim that we are going to exclude this, then just give me a discounted premium. The other thing I wanted to touch on is when I told you earlier on, they mentioned something about theft. Right. Let me just read this again. This policy does not cover any claim, loss, damage, injury, or death directly or indirectly arising from any causes related to electricity supply and or grid failure, including power surges, in brackets, even if caused by theft. Now, what the fuck does theft have to do with load shedding? Since when do you not cover my household goods, my structure, if it's caused by theft? What does theft have to do with load shedding? So now if someone breaks into my home and breaks my gate and they steal something, it's not covered. That has nothing to do with load shedding. So insurance companies have the free will to choose what they want to cover and not to cover. Where does that leave your average person? Where does it leave the rest of us? And I think it's very important to understand where insurance comes in. Where such a thing as insurance come from? And you've got to go way, way back into history to understand what is the purpose of insurance. And it's linked to the banks, loans. You cannot get these type of things without insurances. And it seems that a lot of us are pressured into taking out insurances, or we are not covered for certain things. Then you basically feel that you are left to deal with this all on your own. But doesn't it feel like that already? Don't you feel that if your insurance companies are not covering a whole lot of these things due to load shedding, even though you've taken or put measures in place to prevent it? But that doesn't bother them. They will still not cover it. And this is going to affect a lot of people in the long run. And you're going to be paying a lot of premiums. A lot of premiums. I mean, for some of us, insurance premiums can feed an entire family for over a week. What has it come to? Do we really blame ESCOM and load shedding for this? Or is this something insurance companies have sat in their boardrooms and come up with ways to just completely absorb themselves from having to cover these things? Now, I do understand that load shedding does place a big burden on insurance companies. I do get that. And not everybody has an inverter kit. Not everyone has surge protectors. So that I do get. But you need to deal with this on a case-to-case basis. Each case is going to be different. Maybe in this case, someone broke into the home. And now you're saying because of theft, you don't cover it. Maybe one home has all the stuff, the inverter kits. He has everything he needs. Why not cover his claim? Then you get another home that doesn't have any of these things. That I will agree with. If you do not have these things in place and you cannot prove that these things have been put there to prevent these things, we do not cover. That I get. But to make a blanket statement that you just do not cover these things because of 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're sweeping everybody with the same fucking broom. Why are we paying bloody insurances in the first place? And that needs to stop. We need to start questioning things. We need to start putting pressure on these companies and stop allowing them to take us for a ride. So hopefully this helps someone, even if it's just one person, to re-look at their insurances and see what is going to happen. Because nobody wants to sit with a problem where the fridge packed up or your microwave. I mean, who has thousands of rands just laying around just so they can buy the new fridge or buy a new microwave because insurances are not going to cover it anymore? I mean, where do you have that money? Because your money is going into the insurances in the first place. So yeah, think about it, do your homework, do your research, and hopefully this helps you.